What are the best books in the Binding of Isaac? Welcome to the video. We are back at it again. Me and Turt ranking the books in the library for Binding of Isaac. Say hi, Turt.
My name's Turt, and I hate the moon.
The moon sucks ass. Oh my god,
we
the
only
moon.
Need the sun.
It's all about the soul, bro.
Yeah.
Alright, nah, Luna's goated, bro. Luna's goated. But yeah, we're here yet again. YouTuber stuff. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you like these tier lists. Leave a comment. We love reading all your comments and seeing your different placements for these items. But getting started, these are all in the library. We're not counting Bookworm for any of these because why would we? They all have Bookworm.
Yeah, they're all
like,
Bookworm.
The freak.
The same way.
You know what? Sure, we're counting it. They all give it, so who cares?
Yeah. Insane for all of them.
Insane for all of them. They get Bookworm. But yeah, how about you start with your favorite item here?
So this is my favorite item in the game. It's not even.
It is. It's not even close.
Easily insane.
Insane.
Okay, so
Book of Secrets.
This was one of the early items of the secret room list, which was the first list we did, and I highballed it a little bit.
A little bit. It really said.
I really say like C tier. I really say like C tier, but yes, it is.
I really like my Book of Secrets. That's what you said. I really like my Book of Secrets.
I say Book of Secrets is my favorite item. It's easily better than Rock Bottom. It's not close. But realistically, it's in bad for this tier list. I don't think it's trash. I'll say that, but it's in bad for this tier list.
I'm thinking about it. It might actually still be trash, bro.
No, not like this. Okay, look.
It really might be trash.
Even if this occasionally gives you... Okay.
When do you actually walk out of a library with Book of Secrets instead of any of the other options?
I can think of a few other options that I choose this one over.
I choose it over maybe Jump, and that's it. Maybe Anarchist Cookbook.
I can think of a few. Okay, the reason I highballed the item originally in the secret room list is because this is an item I get a lot, and it's like, it doesn't do that much, but it consistently is like enough of a help that I'm not like unhappy to have it. That's why I like even had any like.
You know what? No,
there are other books in this list that I actually have I do not care about at all.
Okay, I'll put it this way. I think the closest I was like to it, because I think it's fair to say, I mean, unless you think Jump is cracked in some way.
I don't really know.
Also agreed. No. I think the big thing is, I think Anarchist Cookbook I'd actually still take over.
Okay, yeah, so Cookbook is one of the ones that I would put in trash. Okay, it's not like unusable or like completely terrible. Like, I will use it and try to get some extra bombs, but generally it is, most of the time when I pick it up, I get zero use out of it most of the time. And Book of Secrets, most of the time when I pick it up, I might get some extra secret rooms, or it might give me the compass effect, it might let me like skip part of the floor. Like, it at least gives me something, while Cookbook, it most of the time. But
I disagree. No, I feel like Anarchist Cookbook, like for an early game like condition, like, you know, a lot of times you don't have the bombs you need, so it has utility there. It's only like a 3-room charge, right? Like,
yeah, I think so.
Anarchist Cookbook, and like you basically OHKO all early game bosses with this one item. Let's be real. Now, granted, sometimes you get a little unlucky with the bombs, and you have to be careful you don't hit yourself. But like, you know, I think that that's valid. You know, it's an instant boss kill, basically.
The unreliability is a big part of it.
I think unreliability, to be fair, I only think the unreliability matters for later in the game. I actually think it's almost always an instant kill for like early game bosses. Which, granted, I'm not saying early game bosses are like hard, but it's still something.
Look, I will
say, gives you bombs.
With Book of Secrets, it gives you secret rooms, which is funny because we're coming out of.
It doesn't give you secret rooms. Anybody can find their secret rooms. This can technically give you This is the difference. This can technically actually give you a secret room you could not have gotten because it technically can give you the bomb you needed.
Book of Secrets can too. You're looking at it wrong. The way that Book of Secrets can give you secret rooms that you wouldn't have otherwise is sometimes you don't have many bombs and you need to make some guesses. Like, there might be multiple spots that it could be, and sometimes you guess wrong on the 50-50 and then you miss your secret room.
Assuming that you have the guaranteed secret room, It doesn't matter because you could just have no bombs. In a situation where you have no bombs, Anarchist Cookbook is the only way to do it compared to these two. That's
but it still misses most of the time.
And I mean, hell, like, there's a tinted rock. I mean, there's a few situations, especially early game. If you get this, now I'm not saying this is a good item. It's obviously, it might even still be trash. My whole point here is I think these should both be in trash.
I can maybe see it.
They should probably both be in trash, but I do still think this is better because there's a lot of times where I could think of early game situations where I get this really early and I have no bombs and there's a tinted rock I really want to blow up. This gets that for me. A secret room that I really want to get. A lot of times I'll miss it, but sometimes it works. You know, it's better condition than just not getting it at all. And this legitimate, and you know, I actually don't even think it's many situations where you miss early game bosses with this. I really don't. I think you at least do half of the boss's health, no matter what. I don't think you flat out miss all of the bombs on early game bosses. I just don't. So I actually feel pretty adamant about it being above secrets. I think secret is kind of a nothing item.
I actually might give you Cookbook, but not for the reasons you're saying. I'm just thinking of it from a different angle. Cookbook has actually a bit of high roll potential because there's some really good synergies with bomb upgrades, especially Pyromaniac. So, because I was thinking, like, I was about to say that later in the run, Book of Secrets is better, and I think Book of Secrets late run is generally better than Cookbook is, but
I think they're both terrible late game anyway.
You're unlikely to bring it to the end of the run. You've probably found a better active already, which means that the runs that do bring one of them to the end is a run that probably has a synergy with one of them, which Book of Secrets doesn't really have synergies, while Cookbook does. You could have like
guess.
Bombs, or you could have Pyromaniac or something.
I'll be honest, I don't even think I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever used Cookbook with a bomb synergy item, just because I never keep it. I just never, I mean, I probably have, but I just don't remember. Because it's so irrelevant. Like, I would never keep the item long enough to have it for when I have a bomb item. And I mean, that's...
What usually happens is I get it after I already have a bomb synergy, or I just don't get, like, mini actives. And I feel
anyway, it's still a valid enough point to it. It's still a valid enough point to its credit. But I actually think what I said is a much more valid point about it, is the early game bosses get nuked. They just do. And it gives you bombs. I mean, it's not super consistent, but it still can give you... I guess it does
bail you out of more situations.
Yeah.
I guess you have convinced me. I guess in every video with Book of Secrets, I will inevitably...
highball the Book of Secrets. No, because, I mean, listen, I'm not trying to, like, hurt on your love for this item. But, realistically, I actually think this has to be bottom 3. Like, looking at all the items here.
I can maybe see it. I thought that there would be, because I was thinking Cookbook is below it, How to Jump. Let's just write How to Jump now. We know it's at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, probably.
I was thinking Cookbook is below it, How to Jump is below it, and I haven't really given a big look at the list, but I could maybe see another item being below, maybe.
Okay, can we make the argument? I actually... Oh my god,
actually, to be fair, I just realized, it is... I can see maybe, like a big maybe, on 2 books being below it, but I actually think those books are higher, and therefore this would be in bottom 3, and the list is 15 items with 5 tiers, therefore 3 a tier makes sense. So
insane.
It all adds up, the math.
You're gonna hate me for this.
No, just no. I'm not even gonna entertain that.
Listen, alright, think about it just for a second, alright? Only think about these items for the very early game. Like, just don't even consider them for the late game, because you're not keeping these items for the late game. You just won't. For the early game, this is basically Flight. Like, you get a lot more pickups in the early game that were impossible to get. You have very few bombs. You can't bomb for all the pickups you want. How many room combos are there where there's the rock combo, where there's like the 4 rock combos on the 4 corners and there's a pickup on each corner? You could just get that with jump. No bombs needed. And like, let's say, I mean, you know, we're doing library list, right? How many times have you, trying to be optimal, right? How many times have you gone into the library? Like, let's say this first floor. You pick up the jump. You pick up the jump, and you just jump all over that floor, getting all the pickups. That's just good. You just get some pickups.
God damn it, Book of Secrets. God damn it.
I'm sorry, Book of Secrets, but it's true. You can pick this up, use it, And then guess what? It's unlimited charge. So you could do it over and over again. Now, if this is a one charge item, trash, 100% the worst. But the fact that you could spam it for an entire floor and just get rid of it, I think that's actually a good point for Jump.
Okay, I agree. Book of Secrets is really bad. I think it's so bad that it underflows and it becomes the best item in the list.
True. Insane.
I can't take a Book of Secrets L in the secret room list and then take 2
But my point is accurate though, right? Like,
you're kind of spitting facts. I can't lie.
If these items are only good early game anyway, then this is actually pretty useful. Like, you could definitely low roll and get a lot of early game rooms. There's a ton of pickups that are inaccessible, and this can unironically get that for you.
I think I'm going to identify my problem with Book of Secrets right now. I do think that generally it is slightly better than those other 2 items, like slightly. But I think that they all kind of do like a similar level of nothing, and then when you have a good use out of the other 2, it is a lot more impactful.
Exactly. You know what? I actually fully agree, because at high roll, this nukes a boss or gives you a tinted rock or a secret room that you just could not have gotten. So that's why I think it's the highest out of these 3. Yeah. That's a huge high roll. Like, yes, it's not super consistent in any of that, but it can. And that high roll is enough for me, at least.
And it literally does scale with bomb upgrades, which I actually think is relevant, because bomb upgrades are very common.
I actually don't even care about that point, really, though. Just because I'm not bringing it long enough for that to matter. It's a valid point to give it a little bit, but I just don't think you see it enough for that to matter. I only value these for early game.
But I see all these 3 items as like kind of similar, so even a small distinction kind of boosts it up. That's why I kind of like...
Jump is unironically a great, like, first full utility item, bruh. Like, how many times have you done that? You know you've done that. Come on.
So no, what happens with Jump most of the time is you pick it up and you get, like, 0 use, or you get, like, barely any consumables. But then there'll be some runs where you just get, like, quite a lot of value.
Yeah.
I've definitely had runs. And like, overall...
Okay, I'll put it this way. The effect of this item is better, but, like... If I had these 3 items in the library, I'm probably going to get more use out of Jump. Like, it sounds stupid. It does. But because I'm probably still going to get rid of this anyway, like, but at this, I keep the consumables for good.
See, this is where... This is such a weird start to the list where we're going to
trash items immediately.
I mean, look, this is like the whole appeal of our thing, that we will talk for way too long about the 3 worst items in the pool. Okay, the thing that's kind of tripping me up is Book of Secrets. I think most of the time, if I see a library with these 3, I take a book, like, I'd actually say almost 100% of the time, I will take a Book of Secrets. However, I think that the others are better, but situationally so, which is, like, tripping me up. I think in certain runs I take the other 2, and when I take those other 2, they are better. But then I take Book of Secrets the most, so this is an issue on my part that I'm taking the wrong item.
Book of Secrets is just okay, but like I feel like most players would rather bank on even Anarchist Cookbook. Like, I think for that high roll, I don't know.
I will say, as soon as you mentioned how to jump and you said like, oh, you pick up the other books in life, I immediately like, as you started that point, I'm like, actually, I know exactly what he's about to say. And I actually agree that it's better than Book of Secrets just for that.
Yeah.
Even if you just...
Because you can spam it.
Look at the item pool.
And just put it
what
back.
It offers when it spawns in your item pool. When How to Jump spawns in your item pool, there are certain library layouts that you need keys to open all of the things.
Hell, there's libraries that... Yeah, it's true. There's libraries you could use Jump for just to jump to the other books.
Yeah. And that gives you Bookworm. So we were joking about
insane. Jump is the only way to get Bookworm sometimes. Insane.
Unironically, How to Jump increases your rate of getting Bookworm. That's not even a joke.
Wait.
And Bible does the same thing. Like, there's the only 2 books in the pool.
That's crazy.
Because it can drop a key, but that's really it. Like.
Okay. Anyway, let's move on already. Book of Rev.
Yeah. Okay,
insane.
Well, it's insane before, and it's still insane now. It's health generation, and that is useful.
This is like one of the best reusable items, period. Let alone library books.
It's just a lot of health, and you can just keep full health, and then you take damage, and then it doesn't matter because you just get more health. You just get health.
It's crazy. I mean, there you go.
Yeah.
Kind of unfortunate that you have to fight the horseman, but it's worth it. Trust.
Yeah, I do think that your regular boss pool is better than the cubes. Okay, I think the first cube you get is like comparable. The second cube you get is basically losing an item. The third cube
Yeah.
you get then kind of wraps around because like actually having the familiar is kind of nice, but then you spent 3 boss items to get that familiar. Is that worth it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
But the second cube is just a complete waste. You basically lost your boss item.
All right, that's fine. I mean, we all know Rev is great.
Yeah.
Book of Shadows. I think a lot of people would put this in insane. I think it's fair though to put it in good.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I expected you to put it in insane because I'm pretty sure I've heard you say like quite good things about this item. But
Well, it is great, but
just
but when you really sit back and compare it to Rev, it's not comparable. Not really.
yeah.
No,
I
it has great utility, like one of the best utility items in the game.
Yeah.
Like
I'm actually
this is one of the
an item I'm a little bit biased against. I like if it was like completely up to me, I think I would put it in mid. But I know that I am. For some reason,
that's a low ball for sure. That's a low ball for sure.
I know it's a low ball. That's why I would have put it in good.
It's insanely good against bosses. It's insanely good at utility. This is the only, like, basically the only consistent way to use Blood Dono machines and Devil Beggars with the Lost or any health related character. It's very safe with Soul Heart characters. It's a great utility item. It's a great boss item. It does 2 things, and that's great. Like, it's good in both.
For some reason, I've never really been a big fan of it. I will say though, Book of Shadows plus Book of Virtues actually might be one of the most powerful combos in the game.
It is so ridiculous. It is so ridiculous.
It's run winning. That is, I've won Tainted Lost runs with that combo.
Yeah.
Also, this item on Tainted Lost is extremely valuable. Yeah.
It's invincibility. Yeah. I would actually. I mean, obviously, you take it over Book of Rev on Lost because Lost doesn't work for this. But
yeah.
But
no, I think I want the health.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a good item.
Wait, Book of Rev has the increased Devil Deal percentage. That's why I'm gonna take it on the Lost.
True. Okay. Book of the Dead, right?
Yeah, this one fell off hard.
I'm
in Afterearth Plus. This was actually, I think it was insane in Afterearth Plus. In Repentance, it got nerfed. Like,
I actually don't think it was insane. I think it was still good even in Afterearth Plus.
I don't know.
It was good, but it did not.
This item was busted.
I would not consider it as good as Rev. No way. It's not in the same.
Maybe not as good as Rev, but I actually think close. I'm not kidding.
I'll also put it this way: I still think it's comparable to Shadows, even in Afterbirth Plus.
Nah.
Invincibility is so broken on some of the characters. We have to consider all the characters. Book of Shadows is ridiculous on Keeper and Lost. It just is. It's one of the best items they can get.
Okay, we're going on a bit of a tangent, which we shouldn't be going on. But in Afterbirth Plus, you literally just get so many bone orbitals that you're basically immortal to shots anyway. That's why I think it's insane. Anyway, for Repentance, they did nerf it. They increased the charge. Actually, did they nerf anything else, or was it just the charge? Either way, the charge is a massive nerf to this. Because the reason it was so good enough to the Plus, it was so spammable. You could easily get like a lot of the orbitals. And now it's just a lot slower to do that. Which is a massive nerf on its own. It went from 4 charge to 6, and that's, yeah, I mean, a lot slower. 50% slower.
I think mid is still fair though. I feel like I still get good use out of it when I use it.
I think it's mid. Yeah, I think it's mid. It's a bit sad. I think it used to be so good, and just a small charge to the room. There might have been other nerfs. They're not coming to me right now, but I definitely know that in Repentance, it's not nearly as good as it used to be. For whatever reason.
For Afterbirth Plus, I would have left it either here or here. I think I would have put Shadows above it just because of how OP Shadows is on health characters, like no health characters. Even Soul Heart characters, like this is so useful for utility and Blood Dono and Devil Beggars.
Yeah.
So I think it's comparable to Afterbirth Plus. I think now it's fine in mid. I still enjoy using it now, but like compared to any of the stuff above it, I just don't think it's as strong.
Yeah,
it's a fun item. Even now, I still think it's fun. It's a fun item, but I don't necessarily think it's that great.
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
talk about one of the best buffs.
Is the opposite of Book of the Dead and just got a good buff. It's way better. Yeah, Permanent Familiars. Turns out is actually quite good.
Well, for the floor,
For the floor.
I do think it's at least mid. I'm wondering if it's above.
It's at least mid.
I think
it's for sure above. I think it's for sure above, but it probably still is in mid.
The thing is, right? What is more useful? Because okay, let's assume you're only getting one familiar. Because let's be honest here, most of the time you're only getting one, maybe 2 for the floor. familiars. But then again, well, but you could bring the bones.
A lot more, to be honest.
You think so?
I usually get like 3 or 4.
No shot. What floor are you talking about? I'm talking about like on average.
Late game floors.
Okay, well I guess, but the thing with this, okay, and this is very relevant for a lot of these books. You have to think about these books when you're actually going to be using them. I basically never bring this that late into a run.
I sometimes do.
Well, if you find something better, you never do.
There's some runs that just don't get that good actives, and this is a okay filler active to just keep, and some runs I'll have it at the end of the run. And it's actually decent when I have it at the end of the run. I'm not that unhappy. I could have better, but I'm not that
unhappy. To be fair, you're probably right. It's still probably better than Book of the Dead, because I'm thinking about it,
like... Book of the Dead is it's too, situational. Like, especially in late game floors. In late game floors, like, chest, you're only really fighting, like, bosses, 2 enemies in the room. There'll be, like, 2 bosses, and you're not getting any bones from it.
No, that's valid.
So, Monster Manual is more consistent. It always gives you the familiar. It is a bit of variance on what familiar you get, but you can high roll and get like Incubus or something from it. So,
yeah, no, you're right. I think it's valid enough to go above Book of the Dead.
It's also really good if you have like a lot of batteries somehow.
Yeah.
Like if you have some way to generate battery, Monster Manual can just get you a ton of familiars for a floor. So
that's valid. I actually agree with you now that I'm thinking about it more, because I think this is better late game by a lot. I actually wonder. I think I might even say this is better early game. Yeah, because you just get more enemies.
You're fighting more enemies in the rooms.
I think that's the thing that's throwing me off here, is that Book of the Dead, when I get it early game, feels very strong. Monster Manual is better late game. It just is. But I don't bring it late game as often as I use Book of the Dead early game. If that makes sense.
I still think, though, that even early game, Book of the Dead is better, but I don't think they're, like, significant. Like, it's not significantly worse than Book of the Dead.
I'm not against leaving Monster Man. I think you made a good point about the late game. Like, if I do have to bring this late game, valid enough. Like, it's still fine. I don't think it's bad.
Yeah. No, I actually think Book of the Dead, like, it is good early game, but it is not a late game filler active. You do need to drop it.
It is not.
Monster Manual, you can keep the whole game.
You're right. You're really right. You're honestly really right. I like Book of the Dead. I really do, but... You're right. This is way better late game. But I still think they're both mid. I don't think this is comparable at all to the Shield.
No, I agree. They're both mid.
Well, Satanic Bible is at least here, but it's probably here, right?
It's better than Book of Rev as well, because... Okay, yes, you lose a lot of health having to buy the Devil Room boss items, but let me repeat, Devil Room boss items.
Yeah,
I like that, actually. It gives you the health to buy them too, because you can just lose all your red hearts, and then you get black hearts with the Satanic Bible that you can then spend on the devil item.
It is a crazy item, I gotta say.
The issue with doing that, at least, though, is you are losing, like, the consistent stat upgrades you normally get in the boss pool, and, like, the HP ups and stuff, but
realistically, it doesn't matter because you have so much health as well. Like...
Yeah, you just get a bunch of health, and you don't have to buy the boss item, and, like... Even if you technically miss some boss... Because you will technically miss some boss rooms. Who cares? Because I would rather take, like, 1 out of 3 devil items to get 3 boss items. Like...
I think the biggest negative about this item, actually, is the fact that you lose your angel path, right?
Yes, you do. But,
that's probably its real biggest weakness, is the fact that you really do have to go all devil.
Yeah.
So if there's an argument...
Repentance, it didn't have that downside, and it was even more busted. Because you get Angel Path and take Satanic Bible, and that was ridiculous.
I think if there is an argument for Rev, it's that, but I still think Satanic might be better.
Yeah, especially if you consider the Lost and even Keeper, because Devil Deals cost money.
Oh my god, you're so right, yeah. You're so right.
It's literally just... locks you into Devil Path, the Lost gets the items for free. Like...
It is really crazy with Lost,
it's very good.
Granted, Lost doesn't get the health, so maybe there are actually still, but I don't know. A free extra devil deal is so good.
This item is still in K in the Lost. It's basically like a weird goat head. Because it's giving you more devil items every
It is, you're right, you're right. I'm wondering to myself if I'd rather take this than Shadows on Lost. Probably not, but that is really good.
Yeah, although that is a bit more context specific. Like, Shadows is only really good on some characters.
Yeah. I would say, okay, to be fair to Shadows, I think it's good on at least, well, it's good on every character, but it's amazing on at least half the characters. I would say, like, half the characters are, like, soul heart characters, right?
The problem with the other characters in Book of Shadows is it's just not super necessary. Like, you're saving a few hits, that's not going to matter that much. But in the Lost, where you only have a few hits.
I do legitimately I mean, obviously it matters way more for Lost, but I do legitimately think Shadows is still really good for Soul Heart characters, especially.
No. Oh, for Soul Heart character. Oh, yeah, it can be.
No, I just think it is. Like, it's a really good one. Like, because the ability to use Blood Dono and Devil Beggars on a Soul Heart character is very valuable. Like, it just is. And especially on Devil Beggar, you're basically getting a free item out of this. Anyway, I think this is fine. I really like Satanic Bible. I love its buff to make the Devil Deal items spawn. I think it's really unique, very cool item. I love it.
Kind of ties it back into Book of Revelations as well. Gives it like a similar.
Yeah, it does. It's cool.
It's not a downside. It's not a downside.
It isn't, but it is cool. Necronomicon.
You are right, though, that the fact that you are right that the fact that it locks you into Devil Deals means that you kind of have, when you have too many Devil items, you can't buy them all. Which is an issue, but it's not a big issue. I mean, too many Devil items, like, if that's your complaint, you're in a pretty good spot.
The thing is that, yeah, you might lose some of the items that you would have been able to pick up if they were boss items, but, like, it just really doesn't matter because you just have so much health. Like,
you have a way higher chance of hitting an S tier Devil item, and when you hit an S tier Devil item, you only need one, and you'll win. So
yeah, it's true.
Who cares?
It's true.
Anyway, yeah, Necronomicon is bad. It's simple. It is it's in that tier. Easy.
I was wondering if this was trash, but didn't it get didn't it get buffed to have like a lower charge time? Like, it's not 6 anymore, it's 4.
It is 4 room charge.
It's fine now. I still don't use it really because I always think of this item being 6 room charge and it pisses me off.
Yeah. Okay, this is actually an item that, like, I'll sometimes take Book of Secrets over it. I actually do think that I probably take Book of Secrets too much, if I'm putting it that way, because I do think Necronomicon is probably just better. You get quite a big help every 4 rooms. So basically you're doing, like, less rooms.
This hurts me.
You're doing, like,
you know what? I keep thinking about these high roll situations. Am I crazy to do this?
Yes. Go back.
Well, because, like, really think about this for a second. Like, I want you to, like, take your mind out of the times where Anarchist has not done what you wanted it to, and just think of, like the high rolls. Like, this nukes a boss, this doesn't. And
I mean, it still does a sizable chunk of damage to the boss.
How much? What percentage of health does it do to the boss?
Okay, let me look up. Monster HP is going to be a bit high, but let me look it up.
If it does, like,
just like one of the highest.
It would literally have to do 50% for me to be swayed, and I know it doesn't.
Okay, it does 40 damage, and Monster has 250 HP. Let's look for, like, a bit of a, like, lower HP boss, like Little Horn, maybe? Little Horn has 200, so it's like a fifth of Little Horn's health.
That's just so bad, man.
It's not a lot, but...
It's just that it's so bad. Like, I mean, yes.
Okay,
I kill him. Okay, we're talking about the enemies. I know we have to talk about the enemies. But realistically, like, yes, this will kill a bunch of enemies. But you're not gaining anything out of this except maybe saving 1 or 2 hits, which, like, you're only using this early game anyway. Does anybody really get hit on first or second floor? You're not using this late game.
Okay, no, so someone... I've actually shown you the comment as well.
Yes, okay, I know what you're going to say. Somebody commented... I'll talk about it, I'm sorry. Somebody commented that we preface bosses too much over room clearing. I personally do not think that that's true. I think that room clearing is very, very important. Saving health for your bosses is the reason why room clearing is so important. However, the items that are good in bosses are also good in room clearing. And that's a very valid point. There are some items that are only good in room clearing and some that are good in both. But there aren't that many items that are only good in boss clearing. So that's why whenever I say this is good in boss clearing, I'm really just trying to say that they're good in both. That's what I'm...
So, just context for everyone. I actually left a quite long comment agreeing to that comment because it was something I kind of knew, but, like, I hadn't really, like, let sink in, or for some reason wasn't saying aloud. But, like, it made sense to me, and I'm like, actually, I agree with pretty much everything they said. Now... Saving health is important. Say that matter.
That's why I say mantle...
Necronomicon is one of the items that is good in room clearing and bad for bosses.
It is.
And if we're following... I personally agree with that comment that actually... I think I would rather have an item that is good for room clearing than have an item that is only good for room clearing, rather than having an item that is only good for bosses.
But that's the thing. This is not only... No. But that's what I'm saying. This is not only good for bosses. This is good for both. This has utility in breaking tinted rocks and secret rooms if you're a little lucky. And it can give you early game things that you could not have gotten. It is good in both. And this can even be a pseudo room clear already.
It is so unreliable as a room.
It is. But, like...
It's more likely to hit you than the enemies, it feels.
It actually is not that hard to dodge the bombs. Am I crazy?
It depends on the layout. Sometimes the bombs like go in a certain layout where one bomb explodes the other bomb.
If you run to a corner... Yeah, I know. But if you run into a corner and shoot the direction of the bombs, it's really not that hard. Because you'll just shoot them away if they blow up.
But if you're doing that mid-enemy or even boss fight, if you're doing that, sometimes you will get hit because you have to dodge the boss as well. Like,
I don't know. I mean, look, if you really want to leave it like this, it's fine. I never use this item. In fact, I use jump way more than I use Necronomicon. I actually do.
I agree, but I think we're both underusing it. Like,
I just don't know if that's true. Really think about this for a second. It is only good early game. You are killing one room of an early game area. Who cares? Just beat the room. Like, this gives you stuff that you cannot get. This gives you stuff you cannot get. Even secrets could give you something you did not get.
Another reason I brought up that comment is they made a point that you can't always assume that you're not going to get hit.
I get it, but please just remember this is basement 1 or 2, because we're not bringing Necro into depths. We're just not.
But you can, and it still helps.
I just don't know if that's true. It feels so wrong.
Like, it might not full kill all the enemies, but it will weaken them a lot to the point where you basically have cleared the room just by using it. So it's doing the same thing that it does early game, basically. Like, it's just slightly worse at it, but it still does it. And that's 25% of your rooms that are either auto-cleared or easier to clear. It's not bad.
I actually think Anarchist Cookbook is so much better. Like, way better.
I think you're wrong and dumb and stupid and also dumb.
Isn't Anarchist Cookbook only a 3-room charge, too?
Okay, the charge does not matter on Anarchist Cookbook because you're only using it against a boss or if there's something that you need to bomb, which it won't bomb anyway, so you have to use it multiple times in that room. So, like...
Well, if it's a Tinted Rock, I actually think it's kind of free. A Secret Room is what's hard. The Secret Room is what's hard. The Tinted Rock you almost always get. I'll be honest.
Sometimes it still manages to miss.
Sometimes, but I think 80% of the time you get it. Something like that. Secret Room, admittedly, is hard, I will say. But, I mean, you know, if you have another option. I don't know. Let me know if you agree with me. If you really want to keep it in bad, it's fine. I agree with the point. I agree with the point that keeping health for your boss is very important. But my whole point with items in general is that if they're good at both bosses and rooms, that's what's really good. And I think this has really good utility in rooms. It could be a pseudo room clear if you need it to be. And it kills bosses. Early game bosses, it just one shots.
No. So utility is a completely different thing from room clearing and bosses. This, as a boss killer, it's only good against early bosses. Against early bosses, it's really good, then it falls off. So even as a boss killer, I wouldn't say it's that.
I don't even know if that's true. It doesn't technically fall off. It's just that there's better items. That's all it is. It doesn't technically fall off. The bombs still do a lot of damage, even to late game bosses. It's just...
But it doesn't hit them. It doesn't hit them.
It will hit them. It just, like...
It doesn't.
At least one explosion is hitting the boss.
Okay, listen. It's a skill issue on my part because I always blow up the angel statue too early. But I think that the enemy that kills me the most in the game, and it's not actually close, is Gabriel. It's the red angel. The blue angel's free. The red angel is easily the thing I've died to the most. I always bomb the statue in Caves 1, or sometimes I get like an earlier teleport from... In the sack room, it's easy. But if I get like a teleport to like a floor 1 or 2 angel room, I always die to that angel because I fight it too early. But I will have Anarchist Cookbook sometimes in those situations, and I'll use it against Gabriel, and all the bombs miss! It doesn't work! Consistently, it just does not hit. Or if it does hit, it doesn't do as much damage as I want. Like, it's just not good. It's just not good. It can kill Monstro for you. Like, who cares? I can kill Monstro on my own. Like, it can maybe help against, like, some of the like, maybe against the Haunt. I guess the Haunt is a bit easier because the Haunt will get stuck at the top of the screen, but then even then, it can still miss the Haunt. It's like, it's not actually like you're overselling it against the early bosses. I think actually because it's still unreliable. It is an inherently unreliable item. And then against room clearing, don't even entertain the possibility of this thing.
Okay, no, you know what I'll say? You know what I'll say about room clearing for this? I agree that I wouldn't use this on an early game room clear at all. I actually think late game room clearing, it's kind of good. Because it one-shots all the enemies, and they're stronger enemies. Like, yeah, it's not super consistent, but if it hits the enemies, it will one-shot them, which is actually useful.
The enemies, it doesn't hit them, it hits you.
It can't, and no, it never hits you. If you've used it enough, it never really hits you. Not really. I mean,
oh my god, if you're in a room,
I know what you're saying. It's not that hard to dodge it.
Okay, the issue is not dodging the bombs. The issue is dodging the enemies and the bombs. And if you're focusing on just the bombs, you get hit by the enemies.
Okay, don't worry about the pseudo room clear. And that's why I said pseudo room clear. I did not just say room clear, all right? It can be used, but my point is that it has many uses. The more I think about Necronomicon, man, it pisses me off. I would actually put it at the bottom of the list.
You are biased. I take Book of Secrets more than it, and I'm acknowledging that I am biased for Book of Secrets.
Alright, whatever, fine.
Taking Necronomicon.
Fine. I mean, I could see it.
Is way better.
I could see it. It's just, man, it does so little damage to bosses.
This will help you on...
It clears one room. It clears one room. It clears one room.
Every 4 rooms! 25% of your rooms!
But like...
5% of your rooms.
Alright, fine, whatever. Just keep it in bad. Let me know if...
When it was 6 rooms, then sure, but...
Let me know in the comments if you'd keep Jump or Anarchist Cookbook over Necronomicon.
Granted, I still don't think this item is good. However, compared to the rest of these items, actually, I'm not sure when we put Book of Secrets next to Necronomicon in our secret room list. Book of Secrets might have been higher, but I actually do think we undersell Necronomicon.
No, I think I actually think I get so much more out of Book of Secrets than Necronomicon. I really just do.
We were undervaluing room clearing. And room clearing, like, it is so vital. Okay, you know what is more vital?
It is, but like, just don't. Okay, it is fair for me to say don't get hit on first, second floor. I'm sorry, it just is. Just don't get hit on first, second floor. I get it for any other floors. First, second floor is so easy to just not get hit. And anything past second floor, you're probably not even having this item anyway. Because there's better active items.
Okay, let me just make a point, okay? Yes, How to Jump can maybe get you a few extra consumables. And yes, even Book of Secrets can help you find a secret room that you might have had to like guess on, or maybe you just didn't.
That's my point though. This is a nothing item, because I'm not getting hit anyway.
Let me finish the point. Anarchist Cookbook can maybe get you a tinted... Maybe it will miss, but maybe get you a tinted rock or a secret room. Those, like, maybe giving you value. Necronomicon, for sure, will make it a lot easier to not lose your floor 2 Devil Deal, which is, I would say, the most vital thing to get in a run. You need the floor 2 Devil Deal. If you miss it, it sets you back a lot. What about need to hit that?
What about the tinted rocks that you get at Anarchist Cookbook? What about the soul hearts that could spawn with Jump? What about the soul hearts you could have gotten from Book of Secrets?
Soul hearts on Jump is a massive stretch, and
a little bit,
but only gets you a tinted rock if you have 0 bombs. You need to have 0 bombs for that.
Well, I'd still use. Wait,
didn't have otherwise.
Wait, what? Oh, well, I'd still use it, and then I save a bomb. I'd still, if I have Anarchist Cookbook and I have bombs.
No. Here's what you're getting wrong. Here's the wrong assumption you're making. If you use it when you already have a bomb, it's not getting you soul hearts. It's getting you 1 bomb.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
Because if you didn't
that's
have
still
it,
useful.
you just use 1 bomb and get the soul hearts.
I mean, listen, I'm not saying these items are good. I'm just saying for the early game, like saving a bomb is nice. Like that's good.
Yes, 1 bomb, but
one bomb is more than I'm gaining. 1 bomb is more than I'm gaining than nothing. I will keep on saying this. For first and second floor, I actually just don't think I ever lose Devil Deal now. I actually just don't. Not on second floor.
I think Jacob and Esau, it's harder to lose on second floor. Bethany, it's easier to lose on. Easier to lose on second floor for Jacob and Esau. For Bethany, it's easier to lose because you.
Bethany's so free.
Yes.
Bethany's so free. I mean, I know she doesn't have soul hearts, but you have enough wisps to protect you.
I'm not saying it's hard. I'm saying it's easier to lose your floor 2 Devil Deal, and if you do,
I don't even know if that's true. I mean, yeah, you don't have soul hearts, but like the wisps give you so much offense.
Okay, you won't always you're not always going to perfectly not take damage. Like you're okay.
I get it for any floor other than
you're-
first or second floor. All right, I get it for any floor other than first or second floor.
Yeah,
I
but
agree.
You can't play perfectly every time. Sometimes you mess up.
Not on
I
second
occasionally
floor.
will mess up.
No
Yes,
shot.
even me, sometimes, occasionally on second floor, I will fall asleep at the wheel and I got hit, okay? Like, it just happens.
Whatever, fine. It's just annoying because like I'm the one who's advocating for new players usually, and now it feels like you're advocating for new players.
It's a play argument. It's a consistency argument. I see it as a consistency argument. Let's say that, like, okay, this is probably higher than the actual rate. Let's say at 100, like, if you do 100 runs, that 99 of them, you won't get hit on floor 1 or 2. And floor 1 doesn't matter. On floor 2, and you'll get your devil deal. Let's say 99% of the time, you don't get hit. On the 1% of the time, it will matter a lot for that run, potentially. Right? And Necronomicon...
But that's only if you didn't have a soul heart, so it's even lower percent chance.
But also, I'm saying, like, 99% of runs, like, it get hit and it matters.
All right, whatever. We can leave it here. I mean, at the end of the day, from a casual perspective, I can agree for it being here. I was talking about as a skilled player. I don't think that this goes anywhere but here. I actually don't.
Are you claiming that you never mess up and get hit on floor 2?
Not anymore. I mean, obviously I did a lot when I started.
Never.
Let me think of the characters.
I think especially in characters like Jacob and Esau, it is a lot easier to get hit.
Jacob and Esau's valid, I suppose.
Some runs just don't get early soul hearts. Like you're going to floor 2 with no soul hearts, and one small mistake, you get one bad rune, and you lose your devil chains quickly. Like it's just gone.
Oh, the only character I'm gonna consistently get hit on second floor is like Tainted Lazarus. Because I hate Tainted Lazarus. Tainted Lazarus is terrible. Tainted Lazarus is terrible, bro. Tainted Lazarus and Jacob and Esau, I could see it. Jacob and Esau, this item's actually
I also
decent.
think Bethany, since there is a 100% chance that you don't have soul hearts on floor 2.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just talking about consistent. I see this as a consistency argument. If you're like really, really good at the game, like you could theoretically like never get hit. But being realistic, you can't always play 100% perfectly. Like even if you're a good player, you can't consistently 100% of the time always never get hit.
I agree with that mentality all the time, but second floor is just a different story to me. I really do think it's just different. I would actually put the item here. It is where I've finally ended up. I'm tempted to just do midway, but is that fair? I don't know.
I really think it is a fair margin better than the other books, which are kind of useless. Sorry, Book of Secrets.
All right. Whatever. It's fine. I would put it here.
I wonder what other people think of this. I do think a lot of people will say it's a really bad item, but I do think everyone else is just going to think the other items are really bad items. So,
well, yeah. I mean, these are all bad items. I just think you gain more out of all of these. I actually do, because to me, this is a nothing item. I actually think I value this item more in like third or fourth floor, because like then I could see it, but then it's fine, and at that point I might have a better active anyway.
Okay, but you're gonna have a better active than Anarchist Cookbook too, so
yeah, but I think the early game benefit that I get out of Anarchist Cookbook is way more valuable.
I think they're quite comparable early game, and then in later floors.
I'll put it this way. No, you know what? I'll put it this way. You know how I said I never get hit on second floor? The one time I get hit on second floor is never to rooms. That's my thing. I might get hit on the boss. In fact, I think I get hit on the boss
for me,
quite
it's the opposite. No, for me, it's the opposite.
For me, I'll get hit quite often depending on the boss. Like Ragman can be kind of tough. Lil Haunt, I might get too greedy. Like stuff like that. Like I'll get, or even like Plum, right? Like that's where I'll get hit early game. And guess what? This will nuke Plum. This will nuke. Well, it actually doesn't nuke Lil Haunt, to be fair, but it'll nuke Ragman.
Like, there's a funny like player difference for us. The bosses I'm like so like used to fighting that they will they actually will almost never take my devil chance away. But the rooms, because there's so much more variance, I am more likely to like just get hit by something.
No, the rooms are so free to me. I actually can't even think of the last time that I've lost a hit on one or two.
Rooms, like some of the fly enemies, like there's some rooms that like you kind of get like an awkward position and you get hit.
I'm gonna go midway. I'm gonna go midway here, actually.
Also, one thing you're not considering is that if you go to downpour 1, then that's your floor 2, and downpour 1 actually like it's not that hard to get hit on.
I want to go midway, but do you think I should just keep it here and just move on?
Downpour 1 is a thing. Downpour 1 is a thing.
Should I just keep it here? Just let me know.
Yes.
All right, fine. Let me know if you agree with me. I think it's actually here or here. This is where I'd put it. Let us know in the comments if you agree with Manor or Turt on Necronomicon. But yeah, we'll move on. I'll give it to Turt.
I didn't expect this to be the book that we were supposed to discuss.
Yeah, it is. It's a very bad book. I don't know. Okay. Whatever. Telepathy for Dummies.
I know we're gonna have different opinions on this one. Where do you think it goes?
I mean, how many charges is it? Is it 2?
2.
God, that's such a good charge.
2 shots.
I was gonna say mid, but maybe it actually is good. Hold on.
Yeah, it is good. That's exactly where I would put it. I would even say, call me crazy, I actually think it's better than Book of Shadows. But I do underrate Book of Shadows. I did admit to that earlier. So
it's definitely not as good as Book of Shadows. Like, it's not even close to Book of Shadows. That's my problem.
I don't think I will actually fight it because I do think I underrate Book of Shadows a bit. But I actually, like, 100%, I actually really like Telepathy for Dummies.
Yeah, I think Telepathy for Dummies after buff Telepathy for Dummies is unironically a really good active. It's just the fact that it's also 2 rooms. Like, 2 rooms is so free. You could use that on rooms so easily.
Yeah, I mean, you get 9 volt, and it literally is just a Spoonbender, but it takes up your active slot.
It's true.
That is what it is.
Talk about a good synergy. Yeah, I think it's fair enough to be good, actually. I think it's quite a bit better than both of these. Yeah.
I do as well.
And I think, like... Okay, here's my main question. Here's my main question. Would you say Book of Belial or Telepathy for Dummies?
Telepathy easy.
Okay.
Not pinning.
So this probably goes here then, right?
Okay, I did say easy. It's not like quite a massive difference. It's like it's clear in my mind, but I don't see it as
to me they're comparable. To me they're comparable because I really value the Devil Deal chance off this.
That's true actually. That is true.
But I think as an offensive item, this actually does more DPS.
Yeah.
So and it's 2 rooms. That's so free.
The 2 rooms is why I think it's so good. It's surprising. Like, it's not an item that I think, like, you look at it and you're like, is this actually that good? But the 2 rooms is such a big carry.
And like, you get, don't you get range up too? You get range up too, right?
Yes, it's also range up.
Yeah, so like, I guess like Hush or something, it's so stupid because usually I have a, like, debatably a better active item than Telepathy for Dummies anyway by the time I get to like Hush. But I actually think like maybe I'm getting rid of it too easily. Like, I think against something
bosses quite often.
I think I need to bring it more often is the thing. I just feel like for some reason I don't know, maybe I'm like starting with like Isaac who has D6 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like I've used it as much as I should because it feels like it should be insane.
I end runs with Telepathy quite a lot. This will be a book that I'll see a library with like several book options, and if it's not giving me one of the health books like Book of Rev or Satanic Bible, I leave with Telepathy for Dummies. Like out of the combat actives, out of the combat actives, this is the one that I most commonly take. I'm not kidding.
Because Shadows, okay.
Better, like, the thing, the library pool.
The thing that makes me say Shadows for sure over it though is that Shadows is only a 3-room charge, right? It didn't get nerfed, did it? Yeah. 3 rooms for invincibility is insane. I could actually see this item being 6 charge. Like, I actually could. 3 charge for invincibility is crazy. You could use this for so much utility, and it's still really good against bosses. Granted, you're probably not doing as much... Well, are you? The thing is that this is free DPS. You just run up to the boss. And if you have an orbital, this is insane. Actually, wait. Yeah. Maybe I'm backtracking on myself. Maybe this is more DPS. Because you go on to the boss... and just spam shoot.
I don't think it's more DPS just because you're hitting.
But no, theoretically, no. Theoretically, well, I guess to be fair, you have telepathy for the whole 10
room. Seconds.
But like 10 seconds running up. Okay, well, if you have an orbital, it's no question. Like definitely more DPS. If you have an orbital,
no. Actually, if you have an orbital, it's 10 seconds of more damage versus the whole fight of more damage for telepathy for dummies. And if you don't have an orbital, then telepathy for dummies is easily better.
That's I guess that, I mean yeah I guess that's fair enough. Against like regular bosses, like not final bosses, I'd still say Shadows is better.
The orbital just shreds.
Well, not even without the orbital. I think normal bosses are easier with Shadows, because I think a lot of times you just kill the
Yeah,
boss
'cause you
before
can
it even
finish it in
matters.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
Although, even bosses like Mum or Mum's Heart, they're a bit tankier. You can't really finish them in 10 seconds.
I just think in general, this item has better synergies, which is crazy because, I mean, Spoon Better has crazy synergies too. But I just think, like, think about all the times where you get, like, 4.5 volt. And, I mean, 4.5 volt with this item is just instant win. Let's be real.
Yeah.
And
no,
all the
actually,
utility
it's one of
stuff.
it is one of the 4.5 volt synergies that you're looking for. It's a.
It probably is the best 4.5 volt synergy. Am I crazy to say
I
that?
mean, you're literally invincible as long as you can deal enough damage, but you can deal enough damage because you just go into their face and shoot. So.
You just never die. It's crazy. Okay, but yeah, I think it's a combination of utility and battle. Like, even if this is a better battle item, which it probably more consistently is.
Well, I'm gonna give it to you, but I personally think Telepathy for Dummies is better, but I don't think that's because I think I think for some reason Book of Shadows doesn't click with me for some reason. Because like I was gonna put it in mid, and I'm not even kidding. I would still put it in mid. I'm not actually that big of a fan.
That's so
of
crazy. Shadows has so much you could do with it.
Yeah, I know. But for some reason, I've known that. Like literally, this is a Flash Isaac item. Like I've played with Book of Shadows over like my entire Isaac career. For some reason, it still has never clicked with me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
It has clicked with Tainted Lost though. I like it on Tainted Lost, and that's it.
That's so crazy. It's good on it's even good on Red Heart characters. Like, it's not even like it's bad on Red Heart characters. It's still good.
I know, but yeah, I'm not gonna fight you on it. I think for some reason I just hate Book of Shadows.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is fair though. I am actually glad that this item got buffed so much because it actually does feel so strong now.
Yeah.
Great item now.
I actually like this item.
Yeah, I think it definitely deserves to be up here. It seems like it shouldn't be if you've been playing Isaac for a long time. It's really good. Trust.
Yeah. This wasn't easy bad, but above Necro.
This one's confusing to me. Okay, if we're being realistic here, so if we're being optimal, I think it should be at least here. Because you said the thing about not losing health. I think the first bosses in a run that I lose the most health to is Mom's Foot and Mom's Heart.
Yeah.
And I mean, this just instant kills them. It literally is just instant kill. I never use it for that because I think it's a little boring. But if we're being optimal, it's instant kill. You save so much health. Like, and does this still work on Corpse Mom? Mom's Heart?
It never worked on. Oh, like you mean that Mom's Heart? I'm not sure. I actually do not know. I could test it. It's gonna take too long though.
Yeah, don't. I'm pretty sure it'll work.
I
don't. No, don't test. It's fine. But that's a hard fight. The Corpse Mom's Heart.
Yeah.
Or even just Gehenna Mom. Gehenna Mom's tough. Like, this is not like you lose a lot of health on the. I actually think that's like the moment you hit Mom, that's where I'm taking like 3+ hits to the boss, like potentially.
Yeah.
That's the first time in the entire run where I'm losing that many hits.
Depends on the run, but yeah, some runs I find kind of struggle with Mom.
Yeah, definitely. Like sometimes you're not getting the DPS that you need for Mom to like nuke it. So that's the first room in the entire run where I think I'm taking at least 3 hits, something like that. And you know what? I think
that many hits, but yeah.
Well, I could, depending on the run.
Could, yeah, maybe.
I think that's really valuable, and even outside of that, it's flight. You know, I mean, how many charges is it? It's still 6.
4.
It's 4. Okay, it got buffed. I mean, hey, that's useful, right? That is useful. For the actual flight, it's fine. I think I value it most for the instant kill. You save a lot of health. If we're talking about the saving health
by
thing...
the way, it says on the... I don't know why I didn't just check the wiki. It does kill Mausoleum and Mom's Heart.
Yeah, I think that alone, like, those boss fights are hard, man.
Honestly, just for those facts alone, maybe it gets a bit of a bump, but I still think it's just bad tier. I think that Book of the Dead early game is just a lot more usable, and also when you consider, are you going to save this the whole run? You're probably going to have a better active.
That's a good point.
To those bosses.
That's a valid enough point. Am I really going to... No, that is actually the point that I agree with the most. Like, I think that's another reason why I never do bring Bible to Mom or anything. 1, because it's boring, but 2, because...
I never have it by that point. I have a better active.
Yeah, like, usually you want to keep an active that's good for the entire run, not just for 1 or 2 fights.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a valid enough point.
It's better than Necro for sure, so it's top or bad. Like, it's just there. Easily
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's important to think about Mom and Mom's Heart, especially on Mausoleum. But
It's just the flat is kind of nice. It does get you all the books in the library room, and
True.
it does
in a library setting, this is actually
layouts.
useful in a library setting. Hold on.
Yeah. It can give you like occasional like extra pickups because of the flight, and otherwise it's basically just for the insta kills, which you probably won't have it for by that point. And okay, let's put it this way: if you are going to rely on the Bible to kill the Mausoleum Mom as a Mom's Heart, then how are you going to beat Mother? Like, if you're really going to die to those bosses, I think
Well,
the
you
run
don't
is
need.
dead.
It might not be about. It might not be about relying on it. You might just want to save the extra health. That's my whole thing about it. It's just saving extra health.
However, instead, I could go in with Telepathy for Dummies, have a harder time against those bosses, but then have an easier time against Mother, and overall probably be better off.
Yeah. I mean, Telepathy
Like,
for Dummies is a much better.
Like, take Book of Belial.
I think the better comparison is Monster Manuel, because that's where I would put it next to. I mean, this is a whole tier above. I think this is more of a comparison to me. Like, would I rather save the extra health off?
What I mean is that for those bosses, Monster Manuel is comparable. But then Monster Manuel is just good in general, like for the whole run. While this is only good against 2 bosses in the game.
Yeah. No, I mean you're right. I just think that those bosses are definitely like valid enough for an instant kill. But yeah. I mean you're right. Whatever, this is fine. I'm not too feeling strong about it. As long as it's above Necronomicon.
Yeah. You got your favorite item in the game now.
I actually really like Book of Sin. This is actually my favorite early game, like, kind of useless book. Like, this is my favorite, like, mid book, I would say. And that's why, oh god, you're gonna hit me for this. I might actually put it here, bro.
No. I think my mic wasn't picking up. I was saying no a lot of times. It goes to bad.
It's not bad. Alright?
It is 100%.
Listen. It's 3-room charge, right? 3-room charge, right? Pretty sure.
No, it's 4.
Oh, it's 4? Really? Did it get nerfed?
Yeah.
I could have sworn it used to be 3.
No, it was never 3.
Alright, well, whatever. Either way, 4-room charge.
You
Crazy.
said 3, and I'm like, that kind of sounds right, but it doesn't. Yeah, it's 4.
Alright, either way, 4-room charge, right? I cannot tell you how many soul hearts I've managed to get out of the thing. It's ridiculous. But, outside of the soul hearts, you get so many consumables early game. Now, obviously, I did just say this is a mid item. But for the early game benefit of this item, let's say I get this first library. So useful. Like, actually so useful. If I have, unironically, if I have all these books below it right now, even Monster Manuel and Book of the Dead, I pick Sin every day of the week on a first floor scenario. 100%.
I take Monster Manuel over it every time. Book of the Dead, I'm actually not a huge fan of Book of the Dead. Like, I could actually see Book of the Dead going to bad. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think I'm undervaluing it. I think Book of the Dead probably is also better than Book of Sin.
Book of the Dead is 6-room charge though, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it really is bad, the more I think about it. Because it's so bad late game. Like, it's so bad late game. Whereas Book of Sin, I mean, you could still high roll and get soul hearts out of it. Like, I've still brought this late game.
Book of the Dead still does give you, like, I'm gonna say permanent, but they're not exactly permanent. Permanent bone orbitals. They're there until you lose them, and you can keep them for quite a while.
Yeah.
And those orbitals can block shots for you.
Well, yeah, but I only think... I mean, yeah, it's still pretty good early game, but I think the consumables early game is more valuable. Because you're going to lose the bone orbitals anyway, eventually. Whereas the consumables, I mean, you're just going to have them. Right?
Every time I've had Book of Sin, it doesn't give me that much value. It really doesn't.
You're telling me you really haven't gotten, like, a decent amount of soul hearts out of it?
Not soul hearts, no, but I might get, like, a key I need, but, like, maybe.
But, but yeah, anyway, obviously I'm only talking about early game. Like, I think late game Monster Manuel is just objectively better. Like, it just is. Like, I would rather take Monster Manuel for the consistency late game than bank on soul hearts and stuff. But I get enough value out of Book of Sin early game to actually warrant it above for me. And I think...
Tell you what? I think Monster Manuel is easily better. I think it's comparable enough to Book of the Dead. So if you want to put it above Book of the Dead, I am okay with that. I want Monster Manuel at the top. I
am okay enough with that, because I think a lot of people are going to agree with you that Monster Manuel absolutely has to be above Book of Sin. Book of Sin is one of those items that, like, I'm just so happy to see it early game. It actually is my Book of Secrets. Like, this is my Book of Secrets. I actually really like
Yeah.
Book of Sin.
Everyone, I want you to just look at what happens when my favorite item, where it ends up going, and then when Mana's favorite item ends up going, and just see if there's any bias in how Mana ranks things, because I'm not the one placing on.
Would you really put Book of Sin up here? Tell me right now you put Book of Sin between Monster Manuel and Book of the Dead with a straight face. Tell me right now.
By the way, everyone, that's a joke. He does not manipulate the list, but he does hold me at gunpoint. That is true. So
Tell me right now you'd put Book of Sin comparable to these two. Oh,
it's
shoot.
way better.
Shut the fuck up.
It's actually not fair to compare Book of Secrets to Satanic Bible. Like, Book of Secrets destroys it.
But no, I unironically, like, I've gotten enough health out of Book of Sin. I've gotten enough consumables that are legitimately useful for the run. I absolutely think it's valuable enough. Book of the Dead I still might say is more fun, but I actually just don't even think it's as useful anymore.
I'm not really a big fan of it, but I do think it's a bit mean to put it in bad. I don't think it's quite bad. Like,
no, I think it's fair enough to leave it here. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's still really good early game. I think this is good enough. I actually think it's way better late game than Book of the Dead, at least, which is crazy. Like,
late game, like, in terms of, like, how those consumables, like, over the course of the run helped you?
Well, that, but not only even just that, but even just using the item late game, because I might get, like, 2 bone orbitals in a late game area from using this item, whereas I could get a soul heart, I could get a bomb I need, I could get a key I need.
I think late game it's kind of useless because
it's not useless because you could still, I guarantee you're getting at least 1 soul heart between 2 floors. And granted, that's not a great rate, but
maybe.
But 1 soul heart, I'd argue. I think 1 soul heart between 2 floors is more valuable than 2 bones every 6 rooms. 100%.
Yeah, I'm actually not kidding. 100% not kidding here. I would rather have Necronomicon late game than Book of Sin.
All right, so Book of Virtues.
Okay.
I actually think. Okay. I want to know how we should rank this. Should we rank this as if we're ranking all these libraries that we just got in a library? Because it's a library pool, right?
Yeah.
If we're ranking it that way, I actually think it's the best item we've done so far.
Yeah, because you're going to be getting it.
Okay, you get 2.
You're not guaranteed to get multiple books in a library, but you're fairly likely.
Oh, you're almost always. I can't even.
Usually 2. It's
yeah.
Usually 2.
I think as long as you have another, as long as you get another decent active item with Virtues, it's always a crazy item. Like, it's so good.
It depends on what active you get. There's some that are there are some that are underwhelming. However, if we look at this list, and we consider that most of the time you'll get let's say just 1 other book. Let's say you're getting a 2-book library, that's fairly common. It's Book of Virtues, obviously, because that's what we're assuming. And then there's another item. Bible is actually a very good combo with this because you get Sacred Heart Wisp, they're actually quite powerful. Book of Shadows, you win the run. Like, you actually just win the run.
You do.
Telepathy for Dummies, I don't know what you get, but
I'm sure it's good though. It's a 2-room charge.
If we're talking about a library list, this is the only passive item, meaning this is the only case we get to take both books. So
yeah.
Even from that angle, it's good. Even if the like wisp effect of the book you're getting isn't that great.
I think without counting it, without doing the context that this is inside of a library, it's probably it actually might still be at the bottom of insane, but either
being good, but like top of good.
It's either here, or here. But I actually think, and that's still a good placement, don't get me wrong, but having to bank on getting a good active is legitimately a negative of Virtues. But here, where you're almost, like, I want to say like 95% of the time, if you find this in a library, you're finding it with another book. And most of these books have good effects with Virtues. Like, really good effects.
I actually still think I would rather have Book of Revelations on its own than have Book of Virtues plus another book.
You might actually be right. I was just thinking that.
Unless I'm getting Book of Shadows with it. If I'm getting Book of Shadows, then 100% it's the best, but that's very situational.
You might actually be right. I just love...
Book of Revelations,
you might actually be right. I think it's... you might actually just be right. Solar Generation is so strong. You might actually still be right.
Yeah. I think that's a fair placement for it.
But either way, I still think it's very valuable to note that if we're considering this being in a library, you get 2 items with this item.
Yeah.
And that's really good.
I'm pretty sure that I'm almost certain. I'm not like checking right now, but I'm almost certain there are single book libraries. But for the most part, you usually get 2 books at least.
Yeah.
So
I think
you're like one of the 5 book libraries, then
I actually think
probably a
the
book of shadows you win.
I actually think the only bad item in here to combine with virtues is jump. Jump is the only bad one.
Yeah.
I think all the other ones are great.
Maybe cookbook because using that effect all the time, but otherwise, like.
I think if that wisp dies though, I think it has a chance to spawn a bomb, which is pretty useful.
Yeah, I don't actually know what the effects are. I can't be bothered looking them up.
Anyway, either way, it's useful. It's a good item.
I think if we're not looking at the context of it, it's still in good tier. It might be. I think it's top of good tier without the.
It could be. I'm actually not against it being above shadows. It just has so much high roll potential. Without it being in library, it's a bit harder because you can't guarantee a solid active item. But if you do roll a good active, by itself, it's definitely not as good as shadows. Obviously, I mean, we all know it's not as good. Like, this is like one of the worst items here if it could not combine with other actives. But yeah, I think this is fair without library context.
With it. Even if you get a single book library, you are gonna have another active to combine.
Either way, it's basically in the same slot anyway. Without that context.
But I think bumping it to insane is fine just because of the context. That's okay.
Yeah. I actually think whenever I see this in a library, it's insane. Also, this needs a new tier.
I'm not against it. I was not thinking of that, but you know what? I will let you have it. Yes, it does. Look, I think Satanic Bible is kind of...
It doesn't even fit, but I don't care. Lemegeton.
I think Satanic Bible is kind of busted, but this is also very busted. Okay, there is one big downside to this item. Big in quotations. It can give you team trainer, and then you have to lose the team trainer wisp, and then you might take damage trying to lose the wisp, and you might lose your other wisps. That is a bad situation. Otherwise, it's giving you 3 items. Like literally, that's all you need. Mana has 1 with no items. With Destiny, and it was easy.
It was actually easy. I did it in 2 attempts. I beat the entire game without picking up a single item with Tainted Bethany.
Now, I haven't attempted that challenge, but I also think it would be easy.
It would not be that hard now. I mean, it's still it's still harder than,
Yeah, it's harder than normal run for sure, but like it wouldn't be that bad.
It's not really that much harder than like a Lost run, honestly.
Tainted Bethany starts with it. This is the only item needed for it. So theoretically, as soon as you pick this up, you can therefore
just win.
Technically win the rest of the run. Okay, actually, on Tainted Bethany, it's easier because you have the blood charge.
That's true. But
that actually is a fair point. But still, on its own, it's giving you so much value that even if you can slightly make the argument that this could carry the rest of your run.
I actually think the biggest crazy thing that people don't think about Lemegeton is the fact that each wisp has 3 health, which is insane. If they had one,
use them block shots.
It's just extra protection too. If it would actually be valid still as a really good item if it was one health per item. I actually still think it'd be a good item. Because you'd still nuke stuff. Yeah, it'd be harder to keep them, to sustain them, but it'd still be a great item.
It is 6-room charge. They would be very fragile because you generate them quite slowly, but still,
I still think it'd be insane. I mean, maybe it'd be below these, but that's part of the reason why it's such a good item. 3 health on each individual wisp. Once you start growing that, eventually you just get so many wisps that you just never die. You just never get hit.
Yeah. And also you have plus 20 items than you would normally have in your run. Pretty good.
Lemegeton is ridiculous, and there's a reason that it's the rarest item to spawn in this pool. Every single item is as equal chance.
I think Book of Virtues is tied with it. Yeah, Book of Virtues is tied.
Oh, is it? So, I thought that this is the only 0.2 chance.
Yeah, no, Book of Virtues and Lemegeton are the only 0.2. So they're 5 times as rare as all the other books.
I didn't realize Virtues was too. Either way. Yeah, Lemegeton's crazy. It's one of the only items in the game that you could solo an entire run with.
Yeah.
It's a crazy item. It really is just a crazy item.
Yeah.
It also made a Soul Heart character one of the top 5 best characters in the game.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because red health is insanely helpful.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter because Lemegeton's just that good.
Busted character, busted item.
Yeah.
the character is busted because of the item.
I do honestly think it's an entire tier above these.
Yeah, even... no, I was just gonna put it above Satanic Bible, but I'm not going to argue with a different tier.
Because I actually think it might be the best active item in the entirety of Binding of Isaac. What's a better active item, actually?
R key, but that's cheating.
Well,
Yes,
that
sir,
is
that's cheating.
yeah. Okay, that you're right. You are right, but that's cheating. Anything besides those two, I don't think so.
Probably nothing.
Probably actually nothing. This item's ridiculous. All right.
Yeah.
I think this is a good list though. Anything you want to change?
Yeah. We need to put Book of Secrets higher. Book of Secrets, it requires me to rank it highly. It's actually got blackmail in me. That's what the secret is. The secret, you know, I don't want it to have the negotiating power over me, okay? So
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat the allegations. My name's not actually Turt. I'm sorry, I lied.